Hello there friends, Steve here. Yes, coming to the end of a year, coming to the end of 2015. Always the, excuse me, I've got a bit of a winter cold. Yeah, it's always that looking back thing. Looking back, see if I'm going to get run over by a cyclist. They always creep up so slow. Looking at my own behaviour, you know, in real life and on the screen. Over the last few weeks I decided to at first I decided to be calm. And every time I decide to be calm and more passive, something in my gut just explodes, you know, like I'll be on a walk like this and I'll just think, no way, I'm not letting him off that easy. You know, they can talk all soft all they like, but it still sounds to me aggressive, you know. So to a degree, it was this realization that aggressive isn't just shouting. Aggressive is the underlying tone, the underlying assertion of a truth. You know, and another factor is opinions. You know, a lot of the times I've told people things and they said, well, you know, it's just a matter of opinion. And I'm saying, well, there's not everything in life is a matter of opinion. You could give some really obvious examples, like rain falls down usually, gravity, you know. But if you was to take it beyond that to the, you know, out of the realms of normality, and say it's there's no opinions there either. If you're reading a book, you know, say Alice in Wonderland, you wouldn't say that you know, Darth Vader, in your opinion, was the Mad Hatter. You know, I mean, okay, you can be your own stupid opinion, but it's actually a fact within the book. You know, same as like, you know, Luke Skywalker isn't Yoda's boyfriend or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's fact within that book. The author wrote down his fact. Now I think sometimes we get a little bit confused about like fact and fiction and truth and reality. For starters, truth is something that you feel within you, but there is no such thing as truth because the outside world is based on communication, which is something that's been constructed. So there's, you know, there's an influence point between me and you in the words. So, to me, human language, the real human language, the one that everybody around the country, planet, world knows, is gesture, melody in the voice. You know, if I mean something, then I'll say it with conviction, and I won't just say, it's my opinion that politics needs fixing. No, it needs some conviction. I'm not going to do it on this video. I think that message needs some conviction, otherwise I'm not really too bothered about saying it in that low voice, even though I fully, you know, there's no difference. But like if someone's going to say, oh, this is a matter of opinion, then I will shout. I will shout. And if they want to shout their opinion as loud as I am, go for it, you know. And if you want to like put your opinion into action, go for it. You know, I'm not diminishing anyone's free will. I'm just telling you and the rest of the world that if you're saying, you know, it's just a matter of opinion, I'm saying to the rest of the people, don't listen to him, listen to yourself, get your own opinion, but make sure that you don't think that you can use that as an argument, that everything's just an opinion in the world. You know, you've got to put some conviction. It's, you know, it's really, life's about conviction, and it's about now, obviously, and how your actions affect the whole world through time. Never to underestimate your actions as being just small actions. You know, you've got more freedoms and more influence in the whole wide range of things than one president in one country, in a way, if you think about it. You know, so for me, a lot of this shouting and stuff, It's really to get your attention and to show you that I mean it, and to show you that I can stand up in front of the world, and I can put some effort, energy into my voice, and I can mean it what I say, and I stand behind what I say. I say 2 + 2 is 4. If you all have on a different opinion, you can, but 2 and 2 and 4 in practical maths is fact. You know, same as in the legal realm, the law realm, the things within law are facts at law. Not facts in your garden or not facts in your toilet, but facts at law. Just the same as Frodo Baggins, you know, was the ring bearer. And that Gandalf didn't put the ring in, you know, that Smeagol saved Middle-earth. All of these kinds of concepts are facts within the literal realm of the story, you know, and this is where we need to move on to in a way. I need to stop shouting because, you know, I've got your attention. And I'm not angry, I'm never angry, I always put passion in. That passion might come across to you as anger because you might be scared about the things I'm shouting about. But I can tell you for sure that years ago I used to be shit scared of the government and shit scared of the whole legal system and shit scared of the church. You know, I used to be scared stiff and frightened, and then I overcome that fear, but I was still in absolute hate of it. So it was still controlling me. I lost all of that hate, all of that fear, and I thought, okay, I'm going to turn it all to love. The state can't blame me for loving the hell out of it. The world can't blame me for making the wrong assumption based on love and happiness and well-being of man. You know, so the shots that I'm calling when I'm saying 2 + 2 is 4, it's because what is it for, you know? It's the application, it's the use of the thing. This is what I'm interested in. What use is it? And I'm not saying that as a negative. I'm saying if it doesn't have any use, put it to the other side. Look at what's useful, and then just put the other stuff to one side. And if it becomes useful, you can transfer it. Like, for example, now, it's useful to me to talk in this way on a camera, but it's not useful for me to do anything else because I'm in the middle of nowhere at the moment, you know, from A to B. Everything has its use, and that's really my philosophy. So, you know, when we're looking at anything, be it health, be it God, be it everyday behaviour, be it drugs, be it music, be it even deception and governments and punishment and all of these things, is like, what is the use? Not let's find a universal principle. I think that's already been done, and that's why we're in a mess, is because we need to accept the universal principles, but then be there ourselves to make sure that we rise above them principles and not stand under them trying to shatter them, metaphorically speaking. You know, once we understand the system at large and the nature of the game, once we manage to let go of our fear and contempt towards government and just look at it for what it is, look at what we know and think about what is useful. You know, I've learnt over time there's no point in trying to like kind of try and find a public message to wake everybody up. I still try. I still have a go. I still come on here and try and wake everybody up. But to be quite honest, since a long time now, I've only focused on the people who already know. You know, see, like I don't think it's possible to wake everybody up because I don't think it's their job. I just don't think they're going to be passionate or interested. I know you might say everybody should be interested, but to a certain degree everyone will be. You know, everyone's time will come to see. And also when people start to see things applied and see that we as individuals can gain more freedoms by really seeing each other as divine, giving each other dignity they deserve, you know. Making sure we stay in honour with man and woman and child. Making sure we stay in honour with the people, humanity, and that we discern between humanity and government bodies, you know, corporate bodies. You know, it's okay to say, oh, the government's corrupt, you know, but who is the government really? It's a corporation. It's a body. It's not man. And as soon as you start to give it spirit with love or hate, then that's giving it value, that's giving it spirit. And we really should only give the legal fiction, the paperwork, our ink and pen and all of this paper realm, we should only give it so much spirit. You know, we shouldn't like jump off a bridge because we've read a book. You know, that book should inspire us from one realm into another, and this is the living realm. A book is already over as soon as the writer has written it. You know, everything's reversed. I say that a lot, you know, there's some really important principles that I find that help me to just get along and to move on forward with the information. You know, one of them principles is realising that when you're in the public, private and public are different. Like if I'm talking to you now, just to hear close range, that's a private conversation. If we're in public and we're just strangers passing, that's public. You know, television's like public, or the medium is like, a shop is public. You know, these venues that are open to strangers. But strangers are humans, you know, we're all kings. We're all strangers. You know, so as soon as you're in that public domain, the law kind of changes a little bit, because you're not looking into someone's eyes, you're not making a personal contract. It's a public thing. You have freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Nobody can actually decide how you should act, you know. So to a certain degree you can play the joker and you can shout about in public and say things that you wouldn't be able to say face to face with someone. That's the way the law works. You know, otherwise Hollywood wouldn't be able to make the films it makes and then put them in our faces. You know, it's because we subject ourselves to the film that the film is king, you know. And there's nothing we can do about it because it's not looking into our eyes. You know, the newsreader's not looking at you. You're looking into the eyes of the newsreader. Just like I'm looking into your eyes now. You know, I'm not. You know, I'm trying to. I'm in my soul. I'm looking into everyone's soul eyes through this camera. But that's a level of genuinity and authenticity that I've tried to just put into this video, and I guarantee that most people won't do that in the media, because they need a certain level of protection. They need to put on a mask, they need to put on a persona, it needs to earn the money, you know. So the root of all evil, the love of money is the root of all evil, you know, and it doesn't mean don't use it. But there again, another one, you know, the realisation that money, the search for money is like a search for something you've lost, and you're better off just giving up the search for the money and just living life, and then money, then everything you need you'll find along the way, you know. I know that sounds a bit loose and airy-fairy, but you know, you can either spend your time looking for something you've lost, or just accept the fact that you're not going to find it, and maybe just through enjoying life you'll find something else along the way. You know, but all the time that you're like obsessed with looking for that one thing that you felt like you need or you've lost, everything else becomes blended out. You know, if you like lose, you know, $100, then you spend a lot of time looking for that $100, and every hour is an hour you could have earned the $100 back. You know, so at what point do you give up and say, well, okay, I hope somebody else has found it, and I wish them a nice day. You know, and you can give up that search. And that search is, on the whole, I think is another thing that drives people crazy. You know, trying to find a way to find a way. You know, on my channel, on my research, it's in 2009 now, you know, you saw that video of me there. That was a bright, you know, bright-spirited lad. But it wasn't long after that I was being brought down by paperwork as I was like finishing my business and trying to work out the law. The legal system that was blocking my spirituality, my spiritual growth. I decided to look at that legal system. If it's blocking my spiritual growth, then either I need to move to a Buddhist monastery, get out of the system, or find out if this system has got anything for spiritual people in it. Because I don't want to forfeit my entire spirituality, you know, for the sake of paperwork and money and stuff. To me, there had to be something more to this system. And you're all looking for it. I know you're looking for it. And I found it. I keep finding bits of it. But I found what I was looking for a long time ago, but I just couldn't believe it. And ever since, I've been trying to find proof that I'm wrong, or I'm right, or both. And it gives me an headache, so I start to tell you little pieces of it. And no one disagrees. Everyone says that makes perfect sense, Steve. You know, it's obvious almost. Too obvious to even think about. And so after this amount of time, I've like kind of been able to test, the obvious, or seemingly the obvious. But when you connect all of those obviouses and this together that I've presented to you since the beginning of this channel, if you connect everything that I've presented, and I've left out a lot of stuff, I have left out a lot of stuff, and I've tried to put a lot of stuff back into perspective. So if you'd have listened to everything that I'd have said, which is impossible, but I have, I said it, and everybody, a lot of people have listened to the videos and analysed them and scrutinised them a little bit, enough for me to know that if there has been an obvious stupidity in what I'm saying, then you'd probably all come jumping down on me. I'm always expecting you to come back and say, yeah, but what's the answer? I know you're going to say that, because I know that the answer isn't like, there is no one answer that tells everybody. Like I said before, when talking in public, everything's reversed. The best way to get people to listen is to listen yourself really carefully. And at a certain point, if you don't get angry, but spirited, then you'll know exactly what to say. And it should be 2 sentences. Maybe with a comma. Enough to, it's like a holy grail, like a glass, a star glass of wine, and that wine has been fermenting with you for years, and you give them a drop of your wine, just enough to taste. Because often the problem is we're trying to pour the wine down the neck of the person to get them to convince them. But we're kind of inebriating them with examples of why we need to wake up, It becomes a terrible dichotomy. So when I'm shouting on videos, guilt by association here or there, we live in an hard world, we have to just man up. And I'm talking to myself. But the thing is as well, is if somebody's out there shouting about the world, even if it's something that I'm 180 degree in disagreement of shouting about, or I think it's not even the truth, I encourage that person to continue shouting. If it's doing, if they feel passionate about shouting, and other people are interested in passionate about listening, then that's probably a place to discuss, because we're not really discussing right or wrong. We're discussing what to make of the situation, how to make use of the situation we've got now. And I think to myself, whatever the situation is, if I was to go into it with a completely outwardly naive, I didn't know that, I didn't know chemtrails were poisonous, and actually go into the I don't know, institutions, wherever the health, to go in with a naive perspective, but also one with a trick built in. Oh, them sky clouds look nice. Is that dry ice? Is that just carbon dry ice then? Is that, that's quite good then. It's obviously the reason why it occasionally rains. And then the enemy will say, oh, no, it's evil, we're killing you. Then you can have your argument. Then you can punch him. Then you can hit him with the thing. But isn't it better to go in completely naively? As an individual, again, when in public, it switches round. I come and shout about these stupid politicians and bloody idiots, but I can guarantee if I was standing next to Angela Merkel or David Cameron or someone like that, I'd nudge him and I'd say, hey mate, I know that you're an actor. I wouldn't want to be in your job, playing the devil's advocate and that, I'm not going to give you any help, I'm not going to give you any sympathy, you took the job, mate, you're tricking the people will trick you back. That's what I'd say, and he'd laugh and probably and say, hey, do you want a copy of the script? That's the way I sort of see it. So to me, there's no difference in the attack as an individual, whether I go there in secret and pretend to be nice or pretend to be bad. It makes, to me, it's easier for me to go around my private world, quasi backstage, being kind of courteous to people. Now, courtesy doesn't mean like, licking their ass, or, it just means like not entering a dispute, not entering court, not cutting each other, not courting, not trying to love or hate match each other. That's courtesy, common courtesy. So that's what you need in private, but on stage there's no way I can be on here with common courtesy and be inspired to do art. This is art. Anything on the screen is art, really. In news, movies, documentaries, it's all a part of the arts. So, yeah, so. So it's funny for me to then get on the screen and to try and merge my two characters. When I get on stage and play guitar and sing a song, it's quite easy to portray my emotions through the music, stand there and through gestures and dance and kick things. And I really mean it, I'll be shouting at the audience and they'll shout with us. It's like we're not facing the audience, we're just all in the same room shouting the same message. And it's not, sometimes when you shout at someone, or you say I, they take it personally, in a private or public situation. So there's always this flipping round. And I think if you can't, if life stresses you out, if you can't take going on a stage and turning angry and putting an act on, and then stepping off that stage as soon as you need to or want to, if you can do that, then you're a professional or whatever. You're living by your own laws. You can, and I see this in the world. You see so many jokers, tricksters, charlatans and that. But at the end of the day, it's about you navigating through this chaos, bringing your friends and your family and anyone else that you can take on a consciousness, on a journey, a path of knowledge, to get across this like mountain of madness, because it's really in our beliefs and our faith, and to understand our relationship to government. This is something I'd like to move on this year, and I'll probably lose a lot of attention. But to look at our true legal and spiritual relationship with the system of the world. To me, that's where a lot of things go wrong. I look around at free man movements and look at how they're trying to find legal procedures to free ourselves from government. And I always used to follow that with a lot of compassion, a lot of passion. But then when I started to look into the paperwork myself, to try and really help and get the dictionaries and everything, I saw that what these people are saying about things like common law and rights and law and legal and these aspects, that it goes far deeper, and it's actually far simpler. But you've got to have enough faith and love and belief in the world to be able to discern in the moment, in the flesh, what's right and wrong. We talk often about I'm not a person, I am a man in the flesh. It's important to remember, but then not to use something from paper to argue with. If you're a man of the flesh, you argue in the flesh. If you're a person on paper, you argue with paper. You know what I'm saying? To look at it a little bit more like that, really. I spend a lot of time in Germany and England, so I'm connected to two worlds. People think I've got out the system for some reason, but my shit just doubled. Shit just doubled, and then not even just doubled, because you've got international law to deal with. But I tell you what, that amount of pressure that I have as an individual, without being able to join some kind of common law group or whatever, because it's no such thing I don't know any kind of group of people that are working outside of the national law. In fact, it seems that most people are stuck within their national kind of mentality a lot of the time. So I'm not sure whether whether you have to fight out your way out of your national identity. I can't. I'm already at the stage, put it this way, I'm already at the stage where if I was in England and England gave me any shit, I'd get the international courts on them. I'd make it an international dispute. I'd invoke German law. And if I was in Germany and I got shit from Germany, I'd invoke international law. I'd invoke English law. But I can't say that I'm British. Britain's done fuck all for me in the last 20 years. I've done more for Britain than Britain's done for me. You know, carrying its culture around, showing the people of Europe that we're a good people, you know? Creating cultural relations, I've done. I don't see politicians really doing that, they just create conflicts. So us artists and musicians, we're the ones who have to risk going into fucking enemy territory. You know, when I first came to Germany, I thought, hell, there's going to be loads of people who don't like me here. You know. So, but I learned I learned that people everywhere around the world that I've ever met, at least the ones who are not obsessed by governments of their land, or you know, they're not socialist or nationalistic. People who are just people, they like to drink and have a smoke and eat well and make music and make merry, make love, make jokes. You know, they're not that good at their own language that they have to be proud of the language, so nobody really cares about speaking. It's about jamming together. It's about being passionate about life, about talking and not really mattering why it's a song, you know. That's what the world's about. That's what coming out into the world and about and leaving your own nativity play. Now, I'm not saying you have to get out of your country. It's just a state of mind. There's enough people coming into the country that it's no longer, anyway, Britain, or it's no longer Germany. You know, there's so much a mix of people. And I think that's good. I mean, I think it's nice to see tradition be kept, and I don't think it's good when another tradition comes and invades, but I think it's important that we listen to each other's traditions and get an insight into each other's traditions, because there's answers, there's clues there, and maybe when two traditions come together we see a third point of reference. So like I say, you know, I don't know what people's perception is of me. I know that when you haven't got teeth, you know, people think that you can't, you know, you probably can't afford teeth. And you probably then haven't got a job and you're a loser, you haven't got a house, you probably live on the street and stuff, just because you haven't got teeth, you know. If you haven't got legs, you know, or if you haven't got an eye, or if you haven't got hair or anything else, it seems to be different, you know. But again, this was just a point where I thought to myself, if now I have to like run down to the dentist, the vanity shop, because he's not there for health. I mean, there's a certain health level, but it's only vanity. You know, the dentists are not qualified, in my opinion, well, not even in my opinion, I don't think they're qualified in medicine. You know, I don't think it's a medical practice, really. It's more vanity. And so I've got this chance, you know, I don't need teeth for my everyday life. You know, I'm a guitarist, I'm a web designer, I'm an artist. What do I need teeth for, you know? But on this camera, they're, you know, the only place where I really need teeth, you know. And so this is the issue. I become the person that I'm talking about, you know. And I know most people have got like trouble with the teeth and overpriced dentistry and things like that, and it's all, for me, one of the roots of the problem. So why would I patch up my own root of my problem just so I can sit here on camera and tell you about the problem that I haven't got the courage to pursue? You see what I'm saying? So I have to then just leave it up to the presumption of the audience and just you know, make the sacrifice. I just have to be the scapegoat, you know, because at the end of the day, I can take, you know, I've got much bigger goals than worrying about what little people say about, you know, my vanity. And at the end of that, you know, I've not yet discovered that the government or the state or any bureaucrat, any civil servant has actually judged me based on my appearance, as long as I've said the right thing. So I think it's up to us Nothing's holding me back except for the people around me saying, oh, what will all the other people think? You know, other people, you know, I'm often worried about what other people think of me. And I've been I've been trying not to since years, you know. So I can realise it's hard on us all, but thing is, you ain't got much choice. You ain't got much choice to love the hell out of the world. You ain't got much choice to just keep your mouth shut and listen until something inside of you gives you exactly the answer that you've been looking for. But you know that won't work for anybody. But you've just got another person a little bit further. And you're actually not that far yourself, probably. You know, a lot of people who watch my channel, there's still so much more you can get. You know, if you already haven't started reading the Bible, do it. Pick up a Bible, start reading it. Don't even ask why, don't comment, don't come back and say I don't believe in this or blah blah blah. Don't want to hear you blah blah blah. Read the Bible. And read Mein Kampf. And read Alice in Wonderland. You know, but I start with the Bible. Just, you know, if you're going to rock and roll, if you're going to prove to yourself that you're going to put something into this, forget all other books, pick up the Bible and have a bit of a read. Forget what everyone else has said about it, just do that. Just do it for me. Then I'm not going to question you on it, I'm not going to do anything about it. Just keep reading it and keep reading the same bit over and over again, and I say this. But do it. Because there's no point in me sort of explaining to you anymore unless you actually do what I say, is there? You might as well just sort of go off to another channel. But I have everything I put on this channel, I feel I'm trying to draw your attention to this. Now, if you was to just omit everything else and just listen to what I was saying, you know, then you would start to be able to connect the dots easier. But we get ever so confused. But like I say, pick up a Bible. Pick up 2, pick up 3 different translations. Don't try and read the whole thing like a story in one go. But try and read it like a good book, like a story. Like you're the author. Okay, yeah, so I will, probably the next videos I'll do, I'm thinking about sort of sitting down with some pen and paper and doing some of the cryptology that I've done with certain things, but I don't know how many secrets I'm supposed to give out, you see. I don't know how much I'm endangering my own life by putting out these things that are maybe there for you to find. But I'll do it anyway. You know, I'm doing it in the name of love, so I'll just do what I can do. And usually I say something that I think is really, really, you know, powerful, and nobody hears it anyway. So, you know, if people only put it into context, they'll probably get put in prison. All right then, but I know it's right, so, you know, if you stick with me, I'll try and bring more light to it, because I can understand it's, you know, with me trying to censor the truth, you know, only put out the bits that I think you need. So I'll try and put more light on it, and you can always ask questions. I think I get far too many, you know, objective questions. You know, there's often people questioning me rather than, you know, actually giving me questions.